Are you looking for the very best products to protect your digital privacy? Well, Silent Pocket has everything you need with their patented product line of high-quality Faraday bags, backpacks, clutches, and wallets. Visit silentpocket.com today and receive 10% off your order by using discount code Shared Security. Welcome to episode 180 of the weekly Shared Security Show. And joining me this week is Mr. Gamification co-host Scott Wright.
Ooh. Hey, folks.
Hey, and happy Canada Day to you, Scott.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes,
good day,
Is that a Canadian shirt you have on? Is that?
Yes, it's Team Canada.
Oh, yes. Go Team Canada. Excellent. Well, Also joining me is someone who does not match the Kevin Johnson that you search for in Google, co-host Kevin Johnson.
What? What is that? I'm not even sure what that means.
Well, if you Google Kevin Johnson, you get the basketball star. You also get the CEO of Starbucks. His name is Kevin Johnson.
Yep. So, if you Google search Kevin Johnson security, you get the guy from Microsoft.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So I think it's funny in kind of the search terms, you see what happened to Kevin Johnson. Is Kevin Johnson a billionaire?
No.
Is Starbucks Israeli?
No. I'm none of those things. What happened to me? Lots of things happened to me.
That's funny.
So anyway, feel free to Google Kevin Johnson. You might
find out about the antics of lots of other Kevin Johnsons.
That's right.
You would have thought that when I picked the name, I would have picked something more original.
Why didn't you do that?
I wanted McGillicuddy. My brother and I couldn't agree on how to spell it.
Oh, well, there you go. So we have some fun topics from this week to discuss.
I don't know if they're fun.
Well, they're interesting. Let's just say that. But there was a new announcement about a data leak on LinkedIn. This is one that we could debate, of course.
No, there's no debate. It's not a data leak.
It's not. It's advertised as a data leak, but we know better. 700 million LinkedIn users have had their information potentially exposed. It's the same song and dance that we usually hear.
Have you seen anything in that? I hesitate to call it a data leak. Anything in that data leak that isn't public on LinkedIn?
No, that's my point.
All these people are like, oh my God, my data was leaked on LinkedIn. Of course it was. You put it on there.
Right. 92% of all LinkedIn users can be found in this data leak. And I would argue
that's actually, I will agree that that's a problem because the LinkedIn search engine is not that capable.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah. Only 91% of users of LinkedIn are available through LinkedIn itself. So
yeah. And I guess I mean, this happens all the time. Someone is either doing, web scraping. And I think in this case, it was, they just queried the API, which they probably were a developer, right? And probably maybe just found a way around rate limiting or whatever to get all those records. But you can find this information now by just having a LinkedIn account.
Yeah. And I can agree that if LinkedIn tried to stop with rate limiting or something else, that is, a problem that was found. I'm not aware of effective rate limiting on LinkedIn. I've scraped data out of LinkedIn before.
Well, someone may have.
No, I have. They if as a LinkedIn developer, you agree to a terms of service and you get access to the data. The work we did it way back when. I mean, Jason Wood released the tool to build usernames from LinkedIn. It's a legitimate use of the API according to the terms of service. So maybe not grabbing 700 million.
But of course, someone is trying to make money off of this data set as well.
Yes,
I think there's the angle, right? It just makes it more convenient for somebody that doesn't have to go through web scraping to gather, I don't know, email addresses, titles, names, things that could be used for phishing and and other attacks, but I think this is a little bit overblown, personally. So,
yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is, it's a reminder to people that, whatever you post on social media, even if you think the privacy settings are appropriate, you pretty much kind of treat it as public anyway, because there can be breaches, whether this one was very notable or not. It's just an opportunity to remind people.
That's right. So maybe going into something a little more serious, was around this news that there's attacks going on. I think they're continuing attacks on these Western Digital network attached storage drives.
Yeah.
So those of you that have decided to put your NAS devices on the internet, you should probably take those down or change your network configuration, because people are actually going out and erasing these devices.
So two things. One, the people who have done this are probably not listening to this show.
Good point. Good point.
You had to do that to gain access to the feature set the drive was sold with, right? Like they sold it as this idea of remote access being, available, and so you had to have access to that. I'm not saying it was good. I'm not saying that was okay. I'm just saying that if you bought one and you read the directions, it told you to do this. Now, I did read on one article, and I don't know if this is true, but that up until recently, these are old devices, but up until maybe the last 6 months, I think it was, you couldn't access this API without credentials. And there was an update performed where a developer removed the requirement for credentials to access this API.
Oops.
And that's actually, and in my mind, if that's true, and like I said, I only saw it in one place. If that's true, that's the bigger story, in my opinion, is, why would the developer do that? Was it a mistake? Was it a purposeful backdoor? Was it, you know what I mean? Like that, and what are the processes in change control at Western Digital that, if that's true, how did that get past review? How did, you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's what I read, and that seems bad.
Yeah, and it looks like these were devices sold, I think it was like 2010 to 2015. So it's like a 5-year range. So if you do happen to own, I think it's a Western Digital MyBook, I think is the MyBook Live Duo, or there's
a specific set of them, because I had a Western Digital MyBook here at the office. It was not connected to the internet.
Yeah, I had one as well.
But it was not the right one.
Right. So, but yeah, it's unfortunate that, there are people that for fun will just go around and erase those devices. So if you have, if you're a business, or you have, I know a lot of people use these devices for storing like family photos and other things. It could be bad. So,
well, and that was actually one of the reasons for the feature, right? Was the idea was like my wife and I moved from South Florida to North Florida. Right after we moved here, we got, Denise got pregnant with Brenna. Our entire family was elsewhere, right? So these were sold with the idea that you put it online and your family everywhere could access it. There's an attractiveness to that idea.
Sure.
So.
That's true. So we will see any other developments with that, but check yourself or check your devices if you own one of those. Are you sick and tired of getting your credit card or debit card compromised? Well, it's happened to me in the past, and if it's happened to you, it's a time-consuming and stressful process to deal with. Look, credit or debit card breaches are happening all the time because there is very little protection out there to prevent your physical card number from falling into the wrong hands. Well, there is a great solution to this problem, and that's called a privacy card, which is a tool that masks your bank account information by generating virtual card numbers. So if your virtual card number gets compromised, your real card number won't. And on top of that, you can control all of those reoccurring online payments by deciding who can charge your card, how much, and how often. And the best part, you can pause or close out virtual card numbers at any time, which means you have total control over all of your online subscription and reoccurring payments. And right now, new privacy customers will get $5 to spend on your first purchase. So go to privacy.com/shared security right now to sign up and take back control of your online payments.
You want your organization to be secure and compliant and to have a healthy culture. But your employees' lack of awareness makes you vulnerable to data theft, fraud, and compliance penalties. It's frustrating that the boring, static training content that's being used today has failed to improve employees' ability to defend against cyber attacks. At ClickArmor, we know that without using gamification, it's extremely hard to get staff to understand how to avoid threats. Our gamified simulations and challenges have provided a 50% average improvement in thousands of employees' ability to spot phishing threats. Go to clickarmor.ca/shared security to get your free gamified phishing assessment for up to 500 employees. You'll see quickly how gamified simulations can help your team be more resilient and compliant and help avoid costly ransomware and fraud incidents. Let ClickArmor help you go from being an underappreciated, stressed out fall guy to being an innovative leader who's the catalyst for greater productivity in your organization.
So there was other big news. I know you guys are probably like me. You get so many robocalls, right, on your cell phone. It's like constantly. I mean, I get probably 3 or 4 a week, if not more. And I know here in the US, I'd be interested, Scott, are they doing anything in Canada like they are in the US with this stir shaken kind of protocols that they're making all the US
No, I thought we were going to be talking about James Bond. I had no idea what you're talking about.
If the government spent more time actually passing laws that made sense rather than naming laws funny, I think we'd have way more effective.
I know, like stir shake. Really, guys? I know. Like, come up with something else. But it's like in the cyber.
I've not heard of anything in that vein of trying to clamp down on robocalls, although I would welcome it, but no, nothing.
Because they're too busy celebrating Canada Day.
Oh yeah, every day is Canada Day.
This one was interesting to me. Here's the part that really irritates me about this whole robocall thing. And I've said this before. You understand that telecommunication companies make money by selling phone access to scammers. We would not have a robocalling problem if the telecommunication industry gave a crap.
They actually have a revenue stream, a product line that's geared towards scammers, but they don't call it anything you could recognize, right?
Right. And then they sell us a service to block those calls that they sold to the scammers, right? Like I'm all for capitalism, but really just be ethical, okay? But so this one's, I'm glad they're moving forward with something. Let's go with yay. But I bet you it's going to be just as effective as the do not call list. We'll talk about the scam phone call that I just got while we were recording. So, and my Android phone did say potential fraud. So somebody recognized
and I think that is the stir shaken protocol that's working there. That's what it's supposed to do, is let you know that it's a potentially fraud or scam call.
Here's my answer. Don't let my phone ring. Don't make the call. Block.
That would be a better step.
Yeah. Because because the problem is I get calls all the time. So I do expert witness work. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Do you know that every single time I get a call from the Florida Attorney General's office, it comes across as potential fraud?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I have to answer those calls.
Yeah.
Because they're a client.
I can tell a similar story. So, the Canadian government is, they have good intentions, but they have departments that will, for example, Statistics Canada, I'll call them out because it happens every year. I get a robocall from them about not having completed some survey that I'm obligated to do as a business. And they have no way for me to validate that it's a legitimate government caller. And I tell them every year when I finally do call them, I say, you guys have to fix this process, right? You tell people in your message to go to the public website and look for right now, all I can do is go to the main government call center number and ask them, is this a valid number that I got a message from?
Yeah,
Very scary.
It's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a huge problem. I did reread this article, Scott, and it did say North America. So as long as Canada is still part of North America, I think you are included in.
When you say North America, well, so under which authority? Like, is it legislation?
Fine.
Is it like
it's my authority?
Okay. All right. We'll just bow to Kevin's authority. That's
Kevin
good.
says, just Google search me. You'll see my authority.
That's fine with me. We'll go along with it.
He's the CEO of Starbucks, damn it.
If you don't want your coffee, crappy coffee, but coffee nonetheless.
Hey, you don't. You have Starbucks in Canada, right?
We got.
But they compete against what's
Hortons.
the
second
Tim
cup
Hortons? Yeah,
Don't mess with Tim Hortons, man. Tim Hortons is damn good coffee.
You know what?
Really
a lot of people in Canada don't think it is, but
they're wrong.
but it's
a fight begins.
Probably the majority probably do, but I know a lot of people that don't.
Yeah, to me, Tim Hortons is Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know Dunkin' Donuts, but growing up,
we have Dunkin' Donuts here. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I just know that in South Florida, where I grew up, Dunkin' Donuts was the morning coffee place. You went and got a donut and coffee, and so I grew up with that coffee. It could be horrible coffee, but for me, it's the best, right? Because that's what I grew up with. And when the first time I went to Canada, when you guys scammed me with Mountain Dew that didn't have caffeine, I drank Tim Hortons. Is like, oh my God, this is Dunkin' Donuts. This is delicious. I love this coffee.
That's funny. I saw somebody recently posted, I can't remember who it was. It was probably on Twitter, but they're saying, oh, I had my first Mountain Dew in a long time. And you know what? It's terrible. They used to love it, but
yeah, I can't drink Mountain Dew anymore. It's just bad. But when the first time I went to Canada, I was teaching a 6-day class, and I didn't drink a lot of coffee back then. I drank a lot of Mountain Dew, and by like the second day, I was having a caffeine withdrawal headache, and the next day, the third day in class, I complained about it, and one of the students said, "That's because you're drinking Mountain Dew," and I'm like, "What does that mean?" And like that doesn't make any sense. And they were like, "There's no caffeine in Mountain Dew," and I'm like, "You're a liar." Of course, there's caffeine in Mountain Dew, and he told me to look at the can, and sure enough, all the way around. He said, and I think I found out that this was true, that at the time it was illegal for sodas that weren't brown to have caffeine.
Oh, I thought it was just scanners at the border that knocked all the caffeine out of it.
Yeah, that's totally what it was. They knocked it out. So the next day, day 4, I came into the room and there was a plate, like a saucer, and there was a Mountain Dew in it, and there was coffee beans all the way around it. It had a note, Mountain Dew with caffeine.
Oh man, one day we'll do a show on all the things we have here that you don't.
Yes. Yeah, we should do that. A comparison of Canada versus the United States, and who's better off.
We'd have to get a second Canadian on the podcast just to make it fair. Wouldn't it be fair for you and I to team up against? And while you live close enough to be Canadian, Tom, you're not.
It's right across the lake.
Just a short swim.
Yeah, just a short swim. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now our listeners know all of our caffeine and coffee habits. So that's awesome.
Very important stuff. It's more important than a LinkedIn data breach.
That's right. Way more important. So, well, with that, that's all we have time for today. So, thank you.
One quick note.
Yes.
So we actually got a follow-up from Kevin's great idea from last week, which was around the
wait, are we talking about the transparent pants?
Oh, the transparent that too, but We actually had more responses about the transparent pants, but there was
Good.
no. It was your great idea about helping out small utilities.
Oh,
And,
awesome.
yeah, so I'm setting up an organization in Click Armor for a utility to get their people on.
Awesome. Let me know if I can help. That is absolutely cool.
Yep. Yeah, we had a listener reach out to us and connected them with Scott, and works in a utility. So
Nice.
that's great.
Nice. Awesome.
All right. Well, and of course, if anybody else has any feedback, maybe if you want to hear more about our caffeine addiction or coffee wars, please let us know. Feedback at
Canada-US relations.
sharedsecurity.net. Yes, that's right. So, all right. Well, till next time, I'll talk to you guys later. And thanks for listening, everyone. That's all for this week's show. Be sure to follow the Shared Security Show on Twitter and Instagram for the latest news and show updates. If you like this episode, please hit that like and subscribe button, and please subscribe to us on your favorite podcast listening app. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week for another episode of the Shared Security Show.